Hi everybody, welcome to Crochet Rocks. My name's Tracy and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to crochet a beginner's baby Afghan blanket. It's the very first blanket that I actually ever made for a baby was this one, and I made it for my son Paul. I've got a photograph. I don't have the finished blanket, obviously. I have made it several times over the years, but this one was for Harley when we had Harley a couple of years ago. Now, if you look, you can see that the squares alternate the blue and the pink, so it can be for either sex. Oops, and there it is folded, but yes, so you've got a lemon centre. It's not very clear in this picture. But it alternates between the pink and blue, so there's the same amount in each. Now, this particular blanket, I kind of joined this the same way as I did my willow square crochet along. So, for this particular tutorial, it's going to be a crochet along. This is part one. We're going to need... I went out and got this today. I wanted to get all the same make of yarn, but unfortunately the Women's Institute DK didn't have any lemons, so I've got Hayfield bonus in lemon, and for that we're going to the lemon will be in the centre, and I've got 4 of these whites. I think it takes 3 from my memory, but I got 4 just to be on the safe side. I got 1 ball of pink, 1 ball of blue, and the lemon, but you will have a hell of a lot of yarn left over of these. You'll be able to either make a much bigger blanket or several of them out of these. It doesn't take a great deal of the colours, so if you wanted to get smaller balls then you could, but they were 3 for 2 today, so I just got all of them. So this is how they turn out. I've done one of each just to show you. So you get the lemon part in the middle, and then a white round, a pink and a blue. The next one is a blue and a pink, and then 3 white rows, and then we join them together. And you can do this any size you like. I'm going to make it for a pushchair, pram, stroller, whatever you want to call it, because I know someone's having a baby, so I thought I'd make this. And a lot of people were saying that they wanted me to do a granny square tutorial, because a lot of people have not actually tried it, and it is ever so simple. So I thought I would do a beginner's crochet along, but I'm going to show you the method where we finish in the centre of the corner, so you get perfect square every time. So for this tutorial I am using a 4.5mm crochet hook, darning needle, because unfortunately it does make a lot of ends, because every time you change colour you've got to change it. I made one when Sophia was born that was just pink and white, so I did a couple of rows of pink, a couple of rows of white, and that was perfectly fine. But obviously that only works excuse me, that only works if you know the sex of your child. I've also made a lemon and white one before, all kinds of combinations. But it's a really lovely blanket when it's finished, and it looks a lot harder than it is. So I've got my yarn ready. Now for this particular tutorial, I'm going to, as I say, aim this at beginners. So to make a slip knot, this is how I was taught. You make a loop, you go behind, bring the yarn through and pull it into a loop. I'll do it once more for you. You make a loop, you go behind it and back through it, and pull it to make a loop. Now you can make your slip knot in any way you like, but that I always find is a nice easy method. So caught on my scissors. For this particular start we're going to do a chain centre, and I don't really want a very big hole in the centre, so I'm going to do a chain of 4. So that's yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through. So we've now got 4, and to make the ring I'm going to go into the very first chain, just put my needle in, yarn over and pull it through both that loop and the loop on my hook. So I've made this tiny little ring. You can barely see it, but it will grow as we start to crochet into it. So first off, I'm going to do 2 chain to get me up to the height of a treble crochet. Now that's a treble in the UK terms and a double crochet in US terms. Now these squares are all 1 stitch. When we get to the border, then we change it a little, but the whole of this square is made with the same treble crochet in UK terms or double crochet in US. And to do that, we're going to go right in the center of this ring. You just see that little hole there. So we yarn over into the center. Well, it would help if I went into the center. It keeps slipping off the way I'm holding it. Yarn over and pull through. So we've got 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to do that one more time. Yarn over into the center of the ring, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So if we look at that, that now looks like we have 3 treble crochets in this center. And so if you look at our blanket, or our square, you've got 4 sets of 3. And you can't see which one was the chain. They look identical once it's all finished. So now we're going to make a gap. So we just do 1 chain. And we're going to do another 3 treble crochets into that center. Remember, that's a double crochet in the US. So we've got 1. That is 2. And now we've got the 3. So again, we do a chain to separate them. So we've got 2 of our sides. We need to do that 2 more times. 2 more sets of 3, separated by the 1 chain. If I go ahead of you at any time, then please just pause the video and catch up. So I'm on my last 3. And if you have to pull it over slightly to make your hole bigger, that's fine. Not the hole bigger, but you know what I mean, to give you space to see it. So while I've been doing that, I've been crocheting over that tail. So that one's fine. We can just snip that one off, but the others we'll have to deal with. Now, I'm not going to do 1 chain and slip stitch into here, which many tutorials will show you to do that, but that's not how I do it. Because if you do that, I'll show you what happens. You just go into, I'll just do it like that for now. It doesn't matter which way you do it really for this blanket. So now I'm right here on this part, and we want to be working into these holes. So to do that, I would either have to end off now, start again over here, or slip stitch all the way along, and that creates a bump, or turn my work, and I don't like the reverse. So I'll undo that chain. I don't want to do it like that. Now this is more of an advanced technique, but it's not that difficult to master, and I think always a believer in start as you mean to go on. So I'm going to do a treble crochet, remember that's a double in the US, into the top chain of my 2 to start with. So there, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a treble crochet. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, but I'm going to leave it there, grab my scissors and cut off my yellow, and the next colour is white. So I'm now going to finish that stitch in white. So just bear with me while I pull out the yarn. I don't want to tangle them up. Okay, so to change colour smoothly, I'll hold on to that at the back with my fingers, that tail, and I'll just, well, actually hold it like this and finish that stitch in the white. And I'll do a chain and turn over. Now that's the centre one. Remember, you can, if it's going to get confusing, you can just snip that one off because you've gone over that. Now I pull this a little tighter because that always goes a little bit loose when you, even if you hold it, it will go a little bit loose. So I'm going to tie this off. Now you can tie this in one, not tight, don't pull it really tight, otherwise you'll shrink your stitches, but I always do 2 just to secure it. That's never coming undone. And then we are now in the center of this particular, so all you need to know now is when you're going round, when you get back to this part, you need a little bit of your wits about you there to finish off this corner. So we do 2, I only do 2 chain for the height of my treble crochet. If you're a particularly loose crocheter, you may want to do 3, but I find 3 is too big and it tends to bulge round. So now I'm going to do 2 more in this gap here. So I'm just going to go straight in and finish. So I've got one side of a corner. What I've just done is this part. I haven't done this part. So now I'm going to work my way round and finish this at the end. So I ignore the rest, just move those tails out of the way. And now I'm going to go into the very next gap along. So you've got your 3 and there's another gap. Now we're making our corners. So I'm going to do 3 treble crochets. This may seem strange at first and difficult, but once you repeat it several times, it becomes easy. So in our corners, we're going to do 1 chain and then another 3 trebles. So there we have, you see, a corner. And we're going to do exactly the same in this one. 3. Ooh, didn't want to go in. A chain, 3 more in that corner. Now we've done one whole side and you see it's becoming square. Again in the next one, 3, 1 chain and another 3. I might need to pull some yarn. Oops, all fingers and thumbs. So once we've done these 3, we are now back where we started and we've got to finish off the rest of this corner. So we straight away go back into that gap and do the other 3. So it just needs joining together, and we're going to do that again with a treble crochet into the top. So there's the first chain and there's the second chain of our first 2 chain. And now you can go into just the 2 loops like this one and this one, but it really doesn't matter if you can't actually get hold of that. So I'm going to go through the first 2 loops as before, leave those on the hook, cut off the white, and this time we'll start with the blue. Just pull out some yarn. If I can find the end. There we are. Not for a lot. And so again, I'll hold on to that and finish that stitch in blue. Turn it over. Now find the piece that belongs to what you just snipped off, and I'm just going to tie them, not in a crazy tight knot, but just enough to secure it. And now we're going to do the same again with the blue. So we've done 1 chain, the second chain. Now we're going into this hole again to finish off the rest of our corner. So that's 2 more treble crochets. And we'll just put those behind us. So now we've got a side. We've got this part here, we've got corners and we've got a side. So in the sides, we just do 3 treble crochets. The yarn's got stuck. Pulling it up, which is annoying. I'd release that. So that's how we do the sides. And we go straight into the next corner, which is, as before, 3, 1 chain and 3. Now this is all the apart from the lemon, it's all the same yarn, but you can see that the blue looks thicker. It's always amazing to me how some yarns, when you get them, they're exactly the same brand, etc., but want to be thicker than the other, just depending on the colours. So again, we're at the side, so we do 3. Then we're back at the corner, so that's 3, 1 chain and 3. If at any time I go ahead, then please just pause the video. Try to not sort of pause it and meet you at the end, because it's all fairly new if you're a beginner. So again, we're at the side, so we're just doing our 3 and we're keeping that perfect square. The only thing I will say to watch out is that you don't get too baggy here, and you keep it nice, the tension nice, for when you're making your corner. And you know, when you're kind of going from the corner to the first of the side. It does help it to stay nice and neat if you do that. So almost back to the start. There we are, 3 in this one. And now we've got to finish our corner. So we're going into the same hole with our corner and completing that 3 there for that side. Again, we're going to join it with a double crochet. Now, because this is thicker, it looks a little different, but it's still there. It looks a little bit fuzzy. So we're going to start with the blue, leave 2 on the hook as before, and snip off the blue, and we want the pink. Get my white back out again, because I shall need that next, and I put it away, so just bear with me a second. Don't want to bury it too far. So now we've got the pink, we're going to do exactly the same with the pink as we've done before. Hold that yarn, join on the pink, make a chain, turn over, just tie that off. Just don't allow the blue to become too baggy, but you don't want to tie it tight, because you'll shrink that stitch and it will look odd. So then there we are again, we've got 1 chain, there's our second, go into that hole for the next 2, and the only drawback to this is all these tails you've got to sew in. So now we've got a side where you have 2, that's a tail, just ignore that. So we've got 2 lots of 3 along the sides. Just like that, and then into the next one, another 3. And then we're back at the corner. So we do 3, 1 chain and 3. So I just want to show you, stop and show you, after I've done this 3, what it now looks like. And each time you do a round, you're going to have another side to go into. So if I show you on this one, when we did our pink row on this one, we just had 1 side. When we did the blue row, there's our corner, which had 2. So when we did the white one, we'll now have 3, and that's how it grows. So you can always look at it and see where you are. So as you've now become quite familiar with doing the sides, you know you've got to do 2, 1 in each of these gaps, and then a corner, then 2, then a corner. I will meet you back at this start here. So I'm going to pause the video and I shall meet you there. Okay, so I'm now back at the start, so I'll finish off my corner with that half of the 3, and in the top chain, which is there, I'm going to do my last treble, leaving 2 on the hook while we change over to the white yarn again. Whoops, getting tangled up with the pink. So now we're going to do 3 rounds. Hold on to that one as used before, and finish it off in the white. We're going to do 3 rounds to have my crochet hook facing the right way, which doesn't help. Just pull that slightly. 3 rounds of white now, and that finishes it off. Now this is actually easier because there's no change in colours anymore, and so it's easier to do. Let that lay in that way. So now we've got 3 along the side, 3 lots of 3. So I'm going to pause this video and I will meet you when we get back to here, and I'll show you how easy it is to carry on in the same colour. But you need to do your 3 sides and your corners, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I'm back at the beginning. I'm going to complete my corner and do my treble in my top of my 2 chain, but this time complete it. And that's as simple as that. You do 2 chain and then the other 2 into that hole there and carry on as normal. And you do 2 more rows with the white like this. So I'm going to pause the video and I will meet you once I've completed those 2 rows. And once you've completed those 2 rows, should I say. So I will see you once you've done 2 more rows. Right, so that's the end. I've come to my last one. And so I'll finish off this corner, do my join, snip off my yarn, leave a nice long tail, and just end off. So now I've got 3, and if you lay them side by side, you can see how wide that looks. Now that is actually a pretty good width for a blanket. I'll lift it up, but I'm going to make mine 4 wide and 5 down, so that's 20 squares. So I'm going to end this video here. It's quite easy. You just alternate the colours, so you do half in the ending with the pink and half ending with the blue. So that's the end of part 1 of the crochet along, and I will leave you to make your squares. You can make as many as you want. If you want to do 3 along and 4 down, then by all means you can. If you want to do it larger for a cot size, then likewise, just make more. And I will see you again shortly for part 2 of the crochet along when we join the squares together. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell, and you'll be informed when the new videos are up and running and when there's new giveaways and other fun yarny stuff that we do. So thanks again, and I will see you all again very soon.